news talk, current events, and political commentary. Now here's the host of Fighting Back, Uncle Ronnie.
This is Ronnie speaking, and tonight we got a good show for you because a lot has happened today. And we have with us Brandon Slayton. He's the chairman of the Libertarian Party, and of course we have our indubitable conservative with the long hair, Mr. I don't know what that means, but I was prompted to say that, Mr. Ray Michaels. Hey, lots going on today. I just wanted to tell everybody, I think that Biden has been considered president for, I think, a month today, and gasoline prices have gone up about 45 cents a gallon in 1 month. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Joe Obama. Yeah. I love that term. Yeah.
And the vice president has opened up a new office. I don't know, you may be aware of this, but it's the office of the president in waiting.
It's just a matter of time before she... Did you happen to see... We had this the other night, and we didn't play it, and Mr. O'Connor probably dumped it because we didn't use it, but a couple of weeks ago, and you might have seen this, Brandon, it was amazing. He goes out there and he says, in my administration, we're going to go up to 600 million shots of COVID vaccine. You heard about that. And he says, and all 300 Americans will be able to get a shot. And I thought, he said 300 Americans. And he says, let me repeat that. 600 million shots, and all 300 Americans will be able to get that
it's
shot.
A lot of shots per person.
Boy, I tell you, you know.
It's like a pincushion.
But I didn't know we only had 300 citizens of the United States.
Well, I believe he mentioned in the election season that 100 million people had died of COVID.
He did say that.
And that was tragic, I'll tell you what.
Tragic.
Yeah, a big coffin for all those people.
But speaking of deaths and tragedies, I don't think there's anybody, at least in America, who hasn't heard, and those of you that are watching from other countries, Rush Limbaugh died today.
Yeah, very sad day.
And just to tell you about Rush, Rush was the quintessential conservative voice in America.
Yeah, 32 years.
32 years in broadcasting. He had the EIB network, Excellence in Broadcasting.
Which he made up.
He made that up, and he had the golden microphone.
He was not a shy man.
And you know, let me tell you this.
Did he give that to you? That is a golden microphone.
Is that impressive, Brandon?
That's pretty impressive. Why do you cover it up?
So I didn't want to try to outdo Rush, but it is very sad.
Now, Uncle Ronnie, do you remember when Rush Limbaugh had his television show?
I do.
Yeah, because that was incredibly innovative at the time. Nobody had done that, and since then, of course, you have the mainstay, but you also had Glenn Beck. He tried it out, was successful for a little period of time, and then, of course, the great one, Mark Levin. He has his
radio, and he has a Sunday night show
on
Fox. Yeah. And
not a lot of radio have been able to switch over to television.
Right, and even though at least on the center to right side of the ledger, Rush Limbaugh was really respected. Brandon, even in the Libertarian Party, I mean, this man had a big libertarian streak.
Well, they loved to hate him.
Well, the left sir loved to hate him.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I should say this on the air, but there's been lots of things going on by the left today, saying "rest in piss."
You know what? It's just terrible.
Rest in peace.
We have to start looking after each other. We need to change the heart.
Crazy.
Of Americans, because you know what, you may not agree with somebody, you may not even like them, but you know what, when push comes to shove, you need to be there for them and to support them. And that's what made America so great, is that we looked after each other.
Yes.
Whether we agreed or not, it's like family, it's like blood. You have that one uncle.
Well, that was one of the things that you were probably too young to even remember the trade centers. Do you remember when that trade centers went?
Yes, I was a sophomore.
Oh, he was.
Guess it wasn't that long.
He was young, but he was still. I think all Americans came together on that and said, "Wait, we have our own fights amongst ourselves, but don't mess with us."
No, we
We'll
need
protect
to
our
come
brothers and
together.
sisters, yes.
You know, that's why e pluribus unum, out of many, one.
Yes.
We have to be that one. But all this dividing by, a political preference or skin color or how much money you make or, are you cute? Are you not cute? I mean, this is just silly. We need to come together. That's what holds us together. Is e pluribus unum. It's on all of our money. I mean,
We should really take the advice of Joe Biden during his inauguration, where he mentioned we need to end the uncivil war.
Yes.
Now more than ever.
And yet he has done nothing to stop it. Absolutely
I
nothing.
think
It's
he's,
just
in a
it's
way,
just words.
instigated it, hasn't he?
Yes. Well, they keep going. I mean, he could have ended it right there. He could have said, okay, we're going to end this right here and now, and I'm asking that the Senate drop the impeachments
Yes, he could have.
because we're all Americans and this is ridiculous. We're impeaching him to get him out of office, folks, and he's out of office. Why are we pursuing this?
Right. And I think Mitch McConnell could have kept his mouth shut.
Well, that's one thing about the more the left side of the Republican Party, what we call rhinos, Republicans in name only. They never know when to zip it. They always have something to say.
It's almost like they want that soapbox. They want that platform. I have to say something, and I'm going to say something that's very important, so everybody needs to listen. And like Chuck Schumer said, this will go down in history. This will be written in the records for people in the future to read, and they will.
And
we
for
don't.
100 years from now, your
We don't
great
care.
grandchildren will be
Oh
reading
my
about
gosh!
this. No,
It's
they
just,
won't.
It's just
They have-
terrible.
They have other problems.
He'll be a laughing stock in the annals of history.
Well, that's not why we have Brandon on the show tonight, is to talk about this. But, this is probably the biggest breaking news story of the month, maybe even of the year about wrestling.
And we have to thank him. He is the one who came to the game, to the plate. He's the one who took the bat and started swinging it on here. And Uncle Ronnie, we like to have people, whether they're far left, whether they're progressives, whether they're libertarians, whether they're independent. Hub Radio is for everyone. We just want to present the news. We want to present what's happening, and then you take it out. And we always encourage everybody, do your own research, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, but we want to thank you because you were the one who took the ball. I understand now the Republican Party has also done an amicus brief. And how about the Democratic Party?
Unfortunately, the Democrats have not
They haven't
decided to
joined it.
sign
Well,
on the case.
Let's talk about this. Let's
I
go
was
back
just
from
gonna,
the
I was just
beginning.
going to say, I haven't seen a lot in the press about this, and this is troubling to me because this is a big issue.
Well, let's tell everybody
And,
what we're
well,
talking about
That's
first.
what I'm going
Yeah.
to ask Brandon to do. Tell us about this lawsuit. And I don't see how you guys can lose it, but I know what happened today, and I can't
Oh.
even believe it. But go ahead. Tell
Wait
us
till you hear
how
what
this came
happened
about.
today.
So basically, everyone's aware of the county elections drama in Maricopa County. It's very controversial. It's making the news around the world. And basically, the county had decided to run their own audit. They approved a forensic audit that was set to start on
Key
February
word
2nd.
here is audit, because we'll get to that in a few minutes.
Yep.
And that was scheduled to start when?
It started February 2nd.
Oh, it has started.
Yeah.
February 2nd. Okay.
Yep. And as a county chairman, Arizona is a very party-centric state, and that means that the political parties help provide oversight to the election auditing process, tabulation, all of that. And I was very involved in appointing observers to the hand counts and audits all last year, 2020, after every election that we had in the county. From our point of view, this audit is still in line with the party's ability to be observers at the audit. And I basically reached out to county elections official to appoint libertarian observers to participate as party chairman, and was told that we were not allowed to have representatives there, but not only us, also the Democrats and Republicans weren't invited, which didn't make any sense.
And I
because the
think that's
public
by
notice-
law, is it not?
Yes, it's in statute. So Title 16 outlines the responsibility of the parties to help provide oversight to the elections, and it actually specifies that whenever any of these tests are being done, like the logic and accuracy tests, anytime you're messing with the equipment, representatives from the party have to be there. It doesn't say only the one audit after the election. It says anytime. So realizing that we were excluded, we basically, the Libertarian Party, along with our elections experts, our attorneys, filed a suit last Tuesday against the County Board of Supervisors and the County Recorder's Office. We had a case today at 1:30, or hearing today, sorry, at 1:30, that I assumed everyone was aware of because they were served last Thursday.
That's what I wanted to make sure.
Yes.
Since it got on the docket of the courts, all parties had to have been served. Now, what service means is everybody's notified that there's a lawsuit and you're invited to attend, especially if you're the defendant, which is the county.
There's a legal process to this. You
Yes.
can't just say, "Hi, Bill, yeah, you're served." No, there has to be a process that goes through that you can then go into the court and say, "I served them. Here's the proof of their service." So today at 1:30, everybody was served. The process was met. You had proof of it, and you're sitting down there waiting for something to happen. You're there.
It was actually all televised. It was a teleconference.
It was a Zoom.
Yeah, it was. It was a Zoom like. It was Microsoft Teams. It was actually kind of funny because today the county chairs met at the county elections office to sign our new voter data agreements. So I'm literally in county elections department at 1:00, and then I step outside at 1:30 to take this phone call. I'm out right outside the office on this Zoom call. It's supposed to start at 1:30. It didn't start for 15 minutes. The defense wasn't there. They weren't there, and it sounded like the judge was giving
And the
them
defense in this case is Maricopa County
right.
Board of Supervisors, and the
county attorney's office. Yeah.
county recorder, right?
Yep, County
Well,
Recorder.
they were represented by the
All right,
county
so
attorney.
you were there with your attorney on behalf of the Libertarian Party.
Yep. We also had the
Alex
there.
Coliden was there doing. I think he submitted an amicus brief on behalf of the Republican Party.
Correct. He submitted a motion to file an amicus brief. From my understanding, it may not be approved for him to actually submit it yet, and I don't know if we got a determination on that from today.
I think he did. Didn't he mention the other day?
I thought he did. We're going to have him on the phone a little later, so we can ask
He
him.
definitely will be able to help explain that a little bit.
So
more
everybody
fully.
was there except for the defendants.
Yeah.
And what did the defendants say?
Well,
We've got it
Yeah.
off of the
Are you gonna-
video link you sent, but if you want to tell it, and then Mr.
Let's go ahead and play it.
O'Connor, if you want to play that, that would be the first one. It's going to be a little difficult to hear. I mean, this is the tinniest sound I've ever heard. I don't know.
Your Honor, I want to apologize to the court for the way I'm dressed. I did not realize there was a hearing today, and I apologize for that.
He didn't realize there was a hearing today, and he was served last Tuesday. Is that
Thursday.
Yeah.
And he didn't realize that they had been served.
Yeah.
This is amazing. I mean, it's
You'd think it would be pretty important, right?
You would think that
County
being
Board
the
of Supervisors
attorney's
went
office.
into multiple executive sessions last week, I believe, because of the possible litigation from the Senate. And for whatever reason, litigation from the Maricopa County Libertarian Party isn't as important. So, very interesting.
So they didn't know that there was a hearing today.
You know, to kind of unwind this a little bit, according to the U.S. Constitution, the state legislature is in charge of all elections in the state. They are the final say. When you said it was more party-centric, it means that the legislature has actually went to each one of the individual parties and said, we want you to participate with us in this. Similar to they gave certain rights to each county board of supervisors to handle their own, but the oversight is 100% constitutional to the state legislature.
Yes.
Now, by inviting you in, now not all the states are like this,
Right.
but to invite the parties in is extremely important because there is no, oh, well, it's only for the first one, like you said.
Right.
It's for anything that happens, you have a right to be there according to Arizona revised statutes.
Because they are an interested party in the outcome of the election.
Okay.
Correct.
Wow, what a concept.
Now,
that
in the past, and I've seen Perry Mason. I used to watch the reruns. But in the past, if you appear in front of a judge and you say, "Judge, I'm not prepared. I had no idea." The judge normally does not look upon you favorably because you need to come into court prepared, everybody's there. You're
And you
wasting everybody's
wasted
time.
Yes, you wasted everybody's time.
Wasted the court's time.
Now, I do want to stress this. The Board of Supervisors works for Maricopa County, and the county attorney's office works for Maricopa County. See the relationship there is Maricopa County.
Right.
Now, there's one other issue here that might have played most people. Ray, you said happy birthday on Monday. We had Statehood Day. We also had President's Day. So they were off on Monday. So they, if the guy took a early, long weekend, he might not have known that. But I still feel that perhaps somebody in the office
but you
should
had
have
all day
said,
Tuesday.
Counselor, you have
All
have
day
a hearing."
Tuesday, right?
Yes,
Tuesday?
yeah.
And then half a day on Wednesday because it wasn't until 1:30 in the afternoon. You would think, we all have reminders. We all have smartphones. Has the little beep that goes off and says, you have an appointment with the court on this very important matter. You'd think so.
Now, this should be tipping people off that there's a problem here in Maricopa County.
I'm curious how the judge, how did he react to hear that I wasn't aware that we had a court date?
He was very kind, I thought.
Do
He
we
didn't say
have
a word.
it? Do we have it?
We
I
didn't
haven't
play the
seen
whole
it.
thing because the sound is terrible. But
Okay.
but essentially, he didn't chide them. He didn't say, "Counselor, these gentlemen in the private sector are ready. How come the governmental sector is asleep at the switch?" And they were, ladies and gentlemen. The Maricopa County, well, the entire county, I'm afraid, is. In just a minute, Mr. O'Connor, we'll get to that. I think they're asleep at the switch. Now, we'll get into this a little further with Alexander. Why would you be doing all of this? And we've got a list here we're going to go over some of the craziness. Would you agree that this is just absolutely, what do they call it, clown car show? Or crickets, one or the other. So, let's go into the next thing because this is even more startling than we weren't
I'm
prepared.
curious. You have a wonderful attorney that is with you, representing you. Who is that attorney?
It's Michael Kielski.
Okay.
And he has done some litigation for elections before.
Yes.
And so how did he react when? Now this was the county attorney or the state attorney?
County attorney
County
for
attorney.
the
Right. So when
Board of
the county
Supervisors.
attorney said we're unprepared, I didn't know about it. How did your attorney react to this?
It's hard to tell, but just because it was over the video conference and I was trying to pay attention.
Well, I've reviewed that many times. Thank you. He sent me. He was so kind. He sent me not only a transcript but an actual video of
Well,
this.
you could have sent it to me.
Yeah.
I could have been able to see it.
Could have, but you were busy. You had pigeon doo-doo on your shirt when you came in.
Well,
So
that's what happens when you
I
own a
didn't-
zoo.
I didn't say that, did I? So what happened is your attorney was talking about, okay, let's have him respond by tomorrow, 5 o'clock tomorrow. And I think you can even
Which
do
would
it
be
till midnight.
Thursday at 5 o'clock
Yeah.
tomorrow.
And I think they can even do it till midnight now.
Yeah,
They can do it electronically.
Our attorney did try to propose a timeline of events, and again, I'm not a lawyer, so some of this goes over my head. But he did propose a timeline, and the judge's reaction was that timeline was a little too aggressive, and so the judge did take the initiative to reschedule till Tuesday.
So 8 days. 8 days now. We're talking about 8 days, and they're not prepared. And quite, correct me if I'm wrong, Brandon. They said they were going to file a motion to dismiss.
I believe they did, yes.
Now,
So
I
they
talked to Ray
filed.
about
They
that.
filed a motion that the judge had in front of him.
No.
Or after
no, they
this.
were planning on it.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if you've ever seen a motion to dismiss. I have, and I think you have, Ray. They're one page. Just says we don't believe that this should be heard by this court, and we recommend that you dismiss it. Now, what would take till Monday to do that? It's called slow walking, ladies and gentlemen. They do not want to face these issues, and you should be not only mad, but mad as hell about this. So now, Mr. O'Connor, if you're ready for this one, this is the real killer here, and you know what's coming up, I think. If you could play that, and we'll say the sound is not quite adequate, but
Well,
we'll
let's hear it. Let's
we'll
hear it.
hear it, and then we'll tell you what they said. Go ahead, Mr. O'Connor. Thank you.
We're involved in litigation with the Senate right now that is very fast-paced. And Mr. Kielski, I simply have not had the time to make the phone call to you. Again, I didn't realize there was this hearing today. You're on my list. But we dispute the premise of Mr. Kielski and the Libertarian Party's complaint that an audit of an election is occurring. That would be subject to the laws that Mr. Kielski has cited.
We're going to start that again. The sound didn't start at the beginning here, and it's really important. Try and listen in very, very closely on this, and then we'll tell you what he said. This is astonishing, and if we weren't strapped in our chairs here, we would have fallen on the floor. Yeah. Go ahead.
We're involved in litigation with the Senate right now that is very fast-paced, and Mr. Kielski, I simply have not had the time to make the phone call to you. Again, I didn't realize there was this hearing today. You're on my list. But we dispute the premise of Mr. Kielski and the Libertarian Party's complaint that an audit of an election is occurring. That would be subject to the laws that Mr. Kielski has cited.
Did you all hear that? They disagree.
They dispute
that an audit is occurring.
Yeah. Well,
want to play that one more time,
yeah.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yeah, go ahead.
We're involved in litigation with the Senate right now that is very fast-paced, and Mr. Kielski, I simply have not had the time to make the phone call to you. Again, I didn't realize there was this hearing today. You're on my list. But we dispute the premise of Mr. Kielski and the Libertarian Party's complaint that an audit of an election is occurring. That would be subject to the laws that Mr. Kielski has cited.
Okay, did you all get that?
Right,
we disagree that an audit is occurring.
Well, what he was saying was he disagrees that the premise of an audit is occurring that would trigger the language in the revised statutes that would allow the three different parties to come in. He's saying that the audit that they're doing doesn't trigger what the Arizona revised statute has.
Nice try, Bucko. That's
no. That's what I heard.
No, that might be what you heard. Yeah. They have the right when there is an audit.
No, I understand that.
By ARS 16, whatever.
Right, but he's saying that
they disagree with it.
Yeah, that what they are doing, audit or not, what they're doing is out of the bounds of the original Arizona. You can argue anything. The thing is, I can argue that you have a purple shirt on.
Right, but the whole idea there is they are doing an audit. Is that correct?
Yes, it is an audit.
Okay.
No, we see that, and I totally understand, and I totally agree.
Now, a judge, I'm assuming that this judge would have done some homework or read the papers or listened to the news or the radio or the TV and would know.
And we would think that he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would think that Mr. LaRue, the county attorney that was working this, would have also noticed that. And he's saying, no, this, we disagree with this. Okay?
Well, they also disagreed that the legislature had the ability to subpoena,
and we're going to go through that in a minute.
But here's one thing that he did say that caught me, that made me laugh. He said, we are right now working fast-paced. Just remember that. They're working fast-paced, and he didn't have time to pick up a phone. He's on his list. He's going to get to it, but everything is very fast-paced. Can we go back in time and find out how fast-paced this whole thing is? Because it's about as fast-paced as a three-toed sloth.
We can. I'd like to take a break first and then get Mr. Colliton on the line as well, if we could. Because he has a little bit to say about this too.
Now that's a fast-paced guy.
He is. He is a fast-paced guy.
I don't know about this guy.
And we had to put him on the phone because he keeps pounding the table.
Well, he has something to say.
So if Mr. O'Connor, if you're ready there, we'll take a quick break. We'll call Alexander and get him on the line and get a four-way here. And you're going to really hang on to your seats because this is This is pathetic what's going on here. And the reason why, why are you trying to slow walk this? Why are you trying to hide the results? I mean, this is an open and fair election. And as Mr. Brakey used to say, elections are secret, counting are public issues.
Yeah.
This is about counting. So we'll see
transparency.
And transparency. Yeah. We'll see you guys on the other side. Do not go away under any condition.
Today, the world is full of misinformation. News stories on the surface may seem real, but under closer scrutiny are fake. Corruption and fraud are everywhere. There's a better political news and information website, backstreetgossip.com, where you'll find the latest stories and information that's circling the media world. You'll see stories of the day and stories that will be discussed tomorrow. Backstreetgossip.com will provide you with informative content that any reader would be amazed to gossip about. Backstreetgossip.com, providing information from Earth and beyond. In a world where security matters more than ever, Lionheart Security Services stands head and shoulders above the competition. Whether it's airport security, high-rise residential and office security, event security, warehouse security, or even personal security, call the best of the best. Lionheart Security Services. We provide armed and unarmed officers. Our armed officers are held to the strictest standards of 90% accuracy, 20% higher than Arizona standards. When it comes to securing you, your goods, and services. Call Lionheart Security Services, 480-485-2304, or find them on the web at lionheartsecurityservices.com.
You are truly an amazing woman. Tell us the name of your company.
My name, it's Janet King. Well, DBA M&R Janet King. I've been doing this for 18 years, and I have 70 employees working for me. I do commercial cleaning. If you guys need any commercial cleaning.
Yeah, you're here in the Valley.
I'm here in the Valley. I work in Chandler, Tempe, Mesa, Phoenix, everywhere. And now, after coronavirus and March 18, 20, I'm doing fogging and completely total disinfecting of any facility. You have an active case in your facility, call me, I'll take care of you.
So you take care of homes, it could be adult living, anything like that.
Anything that you need a total disinfecting. I have the equipment, I have the people, and whatever you need. Let's kill this virus.
All right, so what's the website?
It's marthayamas.com. Go to my website, and then you'll see everything I do and, everything about me.
All right, spell out your last name for all of our viewing audience.
I start with my name, martha.LLAMAS.com. That's where you go.
And how do they reach you by telephone?
My phone number is 480-577-9574.
You're listening to Fighting Back, news talk, current events, and political commentary. Now here's the host of Fighting Back, Uncle Ronnie.
And welcome back to Fighting Back. Now, Mr. O'Connor was wrong. He said you're listening. Maybe you're watching and listening.
Could be both.
Correction, Mr. O'Connor. Correction. At any rate, here we are with Brandon Slayton and, of course, Ray Michaels, the indubitable whatever. I don't know what that
Yeah,
means.
and
but
Brandon is the chairman of the Arizona Libertarian
Maricopa
Party.
Yes, he is.
Oh, for Maricopa County.
Maricopa County.
Okay. Yeah, and you've been doing this for quite a long time.
Yep, I was just reelected to my second term. So I've
2 year
previously
terms?
before that. I'm sorry.
2 year terms?
Yes, and before that I did serve as a second vice chair for the county party.
That's
Wow,
that's
some people
amazing.
never get enough abuse, do they?
Yeah, glutton for punishment.
No.
At any rate, and we have on the line one of our favorite attorneys of all times, Mr. Alex Colodin. Welcome to the show, Alex.
Hey, thanks for having me back, Ron.
Hey, you you had an interesting day. We were going over some of the things that happened today, and some of the In the morning there's that J.T. Harrison. What does he call that? The conservative circus. This has to be. This has to be. I'm not sure you're going to call it conservative. This is a circus. What's going on in our county? So we have Brandon here, and of course he was a little surprised at what was going on today, especially when they said. What audit? And they weren't prepared.
We're not having an audit. What are they talking about? These crazy libertarians are having too much fun with Prop 207.
And
Yes, we are.
and Ray was even commenting just before the break here, and this is very important because it's right. The attorney LaRue was saying, well, we're busy, we're rushing to get this stuff together, and I'm rushing you.
Alex, he made a comment that we are in a fast-paced position right now, and I didn't have time to contact him. He's on my list, but this is fast-paced, and we got so many things going on. And when he said that the premise of what the revised statute says, they don't believe that what they're doing, call it an audit or not, is actually part of that premise, that he doesn't believe the lawsuit is valid.
And that the law itself, with ARS 16 something or other, that requires the not requires, but it says that if they wish to, they must be allowed to observe. And so we have that issue. Now, one thing that we talked about during the break that we want to make sure that is out there, and Brandon, was proper notice given all the way around, from the service to the defendants, to the courts, to the public, to the press? And go ahead, tell us what has transpired so that everybody should have known and been prepared for today.
Yeah, so we did file the lawsuit last Tuesday. The party released a press release on Wednesday. Of course, anyone can file a lawsuit, so I understand maybe some of the hesitancy of.
And I might add, I might just interrupt for a minute. You and I and John Brakey were in a press conference from here
Last
Wednesday.
Correct.
And so people were, they were notified that, what was going on.
Yep.
No secret.
Yep. So
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
It
is unfortunate that we didn't get picked up in the media, but because anyone can file a lawsuit, and if it's a minor party like the Libertarian Party, I unfortunately understand the reason for that. But according to my attorney, all parties were served with a summons and the case last Thursday. And so with that being said, they should have been more prepared for today's
So, Mr.
hearing.
LaRue, you misled us, sir.
So now, Alex, I have a quick question. So Brandon brought up that, the whole idea of the premise, they don't believe in the premise. But Brandon had mentioned that when they actually were letting people know via, I guess, newspaper or social media, when they were letting people know about this so-called, I'll put it in quotes, audit, tell us exactly what it said.
Yeah, part of the exhibits that we have in our case is the public notice put out by the County Board of Supervisors discussing the audit, and they specifically mentioned the three political parties as key community stakeholders. So based on that, someone was expecting us to be there.
Now, a stakeholder, ladies and gentlemen, is a party of interest.
Right.
And
Yes.
go ahead, Alex.
So what they have always represented is Alex Collins. What they've always represented to us, because we've been involved with Republican Party officials, of course, in the lawsuit over the Senate subpoena, right? What they've always represented to us and to the Senate is that they are having an audit, right? That they put that out in the press releases. The county's going to do its own audit.
So the word audit was definitely used, correct?
It was definitely used.
And so now they're basically saying that the whatever procedure they're going through may not be an audit, or where do they stand on that?
It was so surprising what Mr. LaRue was saying today that it was frankly perplexing. I mean, he said the county is not doing an audit within the, and he might have been saying within the meaning of what the Libertarian Party is alleging or whatever, but it sure sounds to me like he was saying the county's not doing an audit, right?
That's the way I heard
and if
it.
you listen to the video, it's quite clear. There's video.
And we played that.
Yeah.
Mr. O'Connor, can you play that one more time? I don't know if that Alex can hear that, but if you can't, well, let's play it one more time because it's really important when he says we disagree, and then he says about the audit. So let's do this one more time.
We're involved in litigation with the Senate right now that is very fast-paced, and Mr. Kielski, I simply have not had the time to make the phone call to you. Again, I didn't realize there was this hearing today. You're on my list. But we dispute the premise of Mr. Kielski and the Libertarian Party's complaint that an audit of an election is occurring that would be subject to the laws that Mr. Kielski has cited.
He said there that we disagree that an audit is occurring.
With the premise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't.
And to be fair, I also disagree that an audit is occurring, but for different reasons.
Well, Alex, a good friend of mine, very, very good friend of mine, says sham audit.
Gosh, I think I know that guy.
Yeah, I knew you'd know him.
So
a sham audit is occurring.
Alex, in the past, if you came to a courtroom and you were duly noticed on when, where everything was happening, and you looked at the judge and you said, "Judge, I had no idea that this was happening. I'm not prepared." What's the normal response from a judge to an attorney?
So the last time that happened in court was with my opposing counsel in a commercial litigation case. The judge turned to me as the lawyer showed up on time and asked, "What should I do?" And I go, well, Judge, everybody makes mistakes. I'm sure he had a good reason. The judge turns to the guy and fines him $500.
Ooh.
And what happened?
So let's be honest. The county is getting special treatment. If any private litigant behaved the way that they've behaved through all this litigation, constantly shifting to mutually contradictory positions, right? Showing up late, saying, we've been too busy, we'll get around to it on a motion for preliminary injunction, and then telling the court that even an additional few days wasn't enough time to respond. If I did something like that or tried to do something like that, the judge would have mine behind as a private attorney. But the government is held to a different standard. They are held to an entirely different standard. They are not subject to the justice system the way that you and I are. People are seeing it, and they're getting fed up with it.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
No, this is pathetic, and there's a whole litany of things that we'll go over in just a minute. But we were shocked, and Brandon was very kind, and he got a video. What would you call that? A video transaction, I guess.
Transcript.
Video transcript, I guess is the. And I was shocked when I read it. The sound is terrible, but it was a Zoom call, and I couldn't believe it. One, as you said, Alexander, when I used to be an expert witness quite frequently, and if I had gone on the stand and just, was asked questions by the attorneys, and I said, I'm not ready, can we do this another day when I'm ready? I think we would have lost the case right there. He would have said, okay, the litigation here is now over, and I award, the winner of this case is whoever the plaintiff or defendant was. That being said, I was shocked, and he talks about the litigation with the Senate as though that should stop witnesses from observing what's going on. And Alexander, ladies and gentlemen, been on the show with us many times, and we all believe, and I think you do too, Brandon. Nothing like sunshine and fresh air, disinfectant to clean things up and make sure that everybody's aware of what's going on.
Right. Yep.
So I wanted to go over some of these things. This is the craziest thing in the world, and I want to go through a little timeline. I might have missed a few things here, and please help me, Brandon, through this. I want to go back to approximately December 18th when the county took this issue to court. And this has been going on for quite some time, but on the 18th, the county claimed that the court has jurisdiction in this matter. This is the matter of an audit that the state legislature was requesting. And so then, December 18th, same day, the county claims Arizona law prohibits them from producing ballot images. Tell us about that. Ballots or ballot images? The law says ballots. Doesn't say ballot images. And as many of you know that are watching this, the ballot images are images of the ballots. The original ballots are kept under lock and key, and it's the images that the legislature wanted to see.
Right. When you vote, you put it in the machine. The machine literally takes a picture of it and stores it onto a hard drive, and the ballot goes to a separate area, just so you have accounting. That's what it's for. And it says
actually, it's the ballot images that are tabulated. So
Right.
the results are actually counted from the
ballot images.
So Alex, did you hear the question that Uncle Ron had asked you?
He asked what did the legislature subpoena, if I heard it right.
Yeah, we.
Yeah, so they asked for both, right? The legislature asked for both high resolution images and also the physical ballot. They asked for both.
Okay, and then they said that they could not produce the ballot images because it was against the law. It is not against the law, Your Honor.
Well, no, because if the county is entitled to it, then the state is entitled to it because
Yes.
all the county is the political subdivision of the state, as they themselves have acknowledged in writing.
Right. Okay, so that was on the 18th. Now on the 23rd, a motion to dismiss was made, okay? And the county claimed that the court does not have jurisdiction. Now, remember, on the 18th, they said the court has jurisdiction. On the 23rd, they said the court does not have jurisdiction. Kind of an interesting little turnabout.
Right.
Now,
So they have done this kind of thing so many times. I mean, if you remember when we filed our federal court lawsuit on behalf of President Trump's electors, they told the federal court we can't give them the items that they're seeking to subpoena from us because we have to have those items available to give to the legislature. And then, of course, the federal court dismisses that case. The legislature asks for those items, and they tell the legislature, you're not entitled to them. I mean, this is over and over and over again. If any private litigant did this, the courts would slap them down so hard that they wouldn't know which way was up.
So, Alex, why do you think that it's so different from a citizen to a government agency? Why do they give so much leeway to these government agencies?
So a lot of these judges formerly worked for the government, right? That is the traditional path to judgeship, is that you're a government lawyer. And so these guys see themselves, they see their colleagues, right? You know, and there's this deference. There's also, I think, this political pressure as a judge to go along with your colleagues, right? And all of the colleagues have dismissed all election-related cases, so you stop taking them seriously. You don't evaluate each case on their merits. And these factors sort of combine to create a judiciary that's really not giving these cases the consideration and attention that they really deserve.
So it's governmental nepotism.
Government nepotism, you got it.
Okay.
and then, Brandon, what happened on the 23rd? We looked at this motion, another motion to dismiss.
Yep, the county adopted an exceedingly clear view of the Senate's right to hold the Board of Supervisors in contempt.
So they agreed that the superior authority here was the state Senate. Okay, and then what happened?
Then the county argued that the December subpoena would not survive the investiture of the new Arizona State Legislature on the 11th of January, and cried foul when the Senate fulfilled its promise to reissue the subpoena when the new legislature was sat.
Okay, so what that means, in effect, they said, oh, well, on the 11th of January, we got a whole new government, the new
Because
legislature.
in December 23rd, they weren't in session.
Well, the
was part of
Judicial Committee Chair, Eddie Farnsworth, who's been on, Senator Farnsworth, has been on many times, he was leaving, and he was instrumental in that first
Right.
push. And so they thought, you know what, with him gone,
If we just wait till we don't have to
Yeah.
answer this because
Right.
he's gone.
right,
But that, surprise, surprise,
didn't happen.
Senator Warren Peterson took over, and he was even tougher, I think.
Yeah.
And Eddie was a superstar on this. And then we go again on the 8th, another motion to dismiss. And then the county said, surprise, surprise, the county claims that the court does have jurisdiction. Alexander, is this kind of what's called a flip-flop in the legal profession? What's
Yeah, and look, you know, in the legal profession, you're allowed to take inconsistent positions across cases, but when you do it for the same client, the court is allowed to hold it against you. But the courts haven't done that. They seem to have selective amnesia when it comes to the county. You know, and of course the county loves to remind the court of the outcomes of selectively only the lawsuits that they've won and not the ones that they've lost, and the court seems to selectively not have amnesia and go, oh yeah, well then we're going to dismiss this suit too because we're going to tie it all together even though there's no rational relationship between them.
Right.
And, you know, it's crazy.
And then, Brandon, what happened on the 8th? It's right there.
Later that day on the 8th, the county denied that the subpoena served a valid legislative purpose.
That the legislature had no business getting involved in this. This is amazing.
Yep. And then later that same day, the county insisted that the Senate subpoenas must require the in-person attendance of a witness.
And why is that? Because everything was being done by Zoom, and they said you've got to have somebody sitting here in the courtroom. Because of COVID, ladies and gentlemen, everything was done by Zoom, and they said you can't do anything because you have to be there in person. Once again, I don't know what the word is. I could say it, but it's you folks wouldn't like me for saying what this is.
Yeah.
Bovine feces. How's that? You like that, Alexander? Bovine species.
Yeah, that's about right. Of course, within the walls of our office, we have slightly more colorful language to call it. But,
Right, I didn't want to do this.
Species I will accept.
I didn't want to do this on the radio here because it might be.
It seems to me that there's a pattern, Alex, of just pushing this out further and further. It's a stall. Let's stall it. Let's change our mind. We're going to stall that. We're going to change our mind, stall that. And it seems like the whole court case today was, again, we're changing our mind and we're stalling this. Now, Brandon had mentioned that the so-called audit had begun about February 2nd, you
Correct.
said?
Yep.
So by the time it's stalled until next Tuesday, everything's going to be done. What is there going to be for any party to go in and personally experience? What's going to be left?
Well, so the county holds everything fairly close to their vest. I've heard reports from sources I can consider reliable, if I can say that the audit may extend through March with the second audit, because remember they're going to do audit 1 and audit 2. So even if we don't get a chance to observe audit 1, still like to observe audit 2. But in action,
What audit? I don't think they were doing an audit.
Well, who knows? It changes every day, but that's what they say. You know, the county says they're doing 2 separate audits, one after the other. At least last time I checked, but they change every day. But in cases like this, at least as important as getting the relief is also getting the declaration that they did something wrong. Because once a court is willing to put its foot down, the county might control its behavior a little bit more. Might start acting a little bit better, and so that's also a very valuable thing. And in fact, in law we have what's called the doctrine of capable of repetition but evading review for just such situations like this, where the action happens too quick for judicial review. At least the judge can come in and say, okay, don't you dare do it again, and you're going to have to pay some price for doing it the first time. So.
Okay, and then we've got some more things here that Brandon's going to talk about just for a moment.
Yes, January 8th was a busy day for the county. They also argued that once the new legislative session begins, the subpoenas are no longer enforceable. And in response, the Senate expressly and unequivocally stated that it would reissue the subpoenas when the new legislature was seated.
Which they did.
Yep.
And then on the 12th,
The Senate subpoena, so to accommodate that concern, the newly issued Senate subpoena required the in-person attendance of a county witness.
and once again, because of COVID, they don't sit in the courtroom and say, well, you've got to be there. Well, there'd be nobody there. I don't even know that the judge is there. But, I don't know if he's on the bench or he's in his office. But so there again, another. And then on the 15th,
A letter to the Arizona Senate from the county admitting that the subpoena does serve a valid legislative purpose.
but I thought they just said it didn't.
Yep, that's exactly the flip-flopping.
Is
that
that
we're
right,
seeing.
Alexander? Did they say that it didn't, and then they said it did?
I know it's unbelievable, right? I know it's unbelievable.
They've got a great track record of every other day they've got a different position that they're taking. Okay, and then on the 19th, what happened on that one?
An email with settlement terms. The county agrees to produce ballot images, which is huge.
Listen to that, Alexander. On the 19th of January, the county has agreed to produce the ballot images. How about that?
And the problem is, right? You can't enforce the terms unless you have what's called the Rule 80 agreement, right? Which is an agreement that's actually signed by council or the party. Until that, it's just all back and forth. But the whole reason I think that the county backed out of that deal is they found out that the Senate was planning on using real auditors, and they go, "Oh no, we thought we had pulled the wool over the Senate's eyes and got them to use our hand-picked auditors,
Which were
but
not auditors
no,
at all.
Yeah, and then they found out that oh no, the Senate finally saw through that, and they go, "Oh well, we can't have this deal now."
Exactly. And then we kind of go on here. We got
Yep.
a few minutes to go for the last.
Then February 5th, a complaint from the county claimed that its witnesses is entitled to even more, a publicly noticed hearing and an opportunity to testify in a public setting.
What does that mean, Alexander? The county claims that its witnesses are entitled to even more public notice. What does that mean?
I have no clue.
I mean, I think this is what LaRue was saying today. I didn't get proper notice. I've only known about this for a week.
Yeah, the government always loves it. You know, it's always funny when you sue the government over this election-related stuff, because they have two canned arguments that they'll always use, and if you don't get hit by one, you get hit by the other. Either you filed your lawsuit too early, and it's not yet ripe because you filed it too early, or you filed it too late, and therefore the doctor the latches bars your claim. It's always one or the other with these guys.
Or you don't have standing.
Oh no, they always use that one. They always use the standing.
So we got that. Let's go on. What do we have next?
Later that day on February 5th, the county then reasserted its January 8th denial that the subpoena served a valid legislative purpose.
Oh my! Now they don't serve a. They do, then they don't. No, they started out they don't, but then they did, but then they don't. Okay, I get it.
And then another complaint on that same day, the Senate fulfills its promise, and the county complains that it did not receive an adequate notice of the subpoena.
They didn't receive an adequate notice. I'm sure that's what LaRue's going to use. You know, I didn't. How was I to know? You only served me last week. I mean, you know.
Not
But
like
we're
this
moving
stuff's
fast. We're
important,
moving
right?
fast.
It's he said this is a fast-paced event that he's going through. This is fast-paced.
Yep.
Okay, so
Still on February 5th, the county asked the judicial branch to interfere with the legislative branch's previously conceded remedy of contempt.
okay, and
then-
we all know where that went. Okay,
Right.
and then finally the same day, what
Same
happened?
day, the county claims it is legally prohibited from producing the images.
Legally.
I thought they already agreed to
Prohibited,
it. I
yeah.
thought somewhere up here, the county agrees to produce the ballot images on the 19th. And then here they say they ask them to interfere in legislative branch previously. Oh gosh, yeah.
So Alex,
So they flip-flopped on that too.
let me ask you a question. as an attorney, if you see that the opposing counsel is doing something like this, you're almost obligated to tell the judge, look, I don't know who I'm going up against. They're changing things constantly. They're stating facts, and then they're stating opposing facts. I mean, how do we even move along from a judicial standpoint?
Well, and we pointed out, many of these contradictions in our amicus brief, and we brought sources. But ultimately, it's up to, when you're in trial court, it's up to the trial court judge to decide what to do with that. We hope that, again, if the Libertarian Party decides to appeal, certainly if the government loses, they will appeal. We hope that the appellate courts will pay attention to this weird train of contradictory events with a little bit more attention than the Maricopa County Courthouse has. I've sort of given up receiving a fair hearing at the Maricopa County trial level, but I still do believe that the Arizona Supreme Court, has excellent justices and certainly have given conservatives some of the few wins that we've had, and may look a little bit more askew at these facts than maybe the jaded trial court judges are.
I look at this as a layperson as just being totally bizarre because common sense has been thrown out. And, there was a question earlier that we wanted to ask you. So we weren't unsure. The amicus brief has been accepted by the court. You are considered a friend of the court in this case?
So the court says, they even put that off. The court says that they're going to rule on our amicus brief next week.
What is the holdup on that?
I have no idea. There shouldn't be any reason that they couldn't rule on that today.
Wow. Again, just a bizarre.
Ray, one of the things, they call this an audit, but it's not. It's a logic and accuracy test is what they're doing, not an audit. LaRue was right. They're not doing an audit, but they're doing a sham audit, as a good friend of mine once said. And
I guess an audit by any other name is still not an audit.
It's a logic and accuracy test. But if you look at the litany here of what went on, it's not logical. This is not logical. And ladies and gentlemen, we just have a few minutes left, so I'm going to tell you this. You need to be mad, and you need to be mad as hell, and you need to keep working hard. And this is just an impossible task. These people need to be brought out. Why would they be doing this? I'm saying they're doing it because they're trying to hide something. If you're open about everything, you'll open it up and let third parties look at it and say, we got it.
Right.
You're good.
Yep.
Victory. Everybody's happy now, right?
Yep. If the county's goal is to instill public confidence, they're failing.
Well, and I actually think there's a second purpose, too, at this point, right? Which is they want to establish that they can do whatever they want. I think that's one of the reasons they're being so flagrant, that they can do whatever they want, and no court will tell them no. And as a result, not even this election cycle, but in future election cycles, they will have impunity. Nobody will ever sue them. They can act as outrageously as they want and have absolute power, and with the blessing and sanction of the judicial system. That's, I think, their secondary goal.
And that's why I think we as citizens, as we the people, like Brandon, need to stand up and say, you know what? It's about protecting our individual rights, our individual freedoms, and our individual liberty, and not about them usurping this power that they don't have, and to let them get away with it. Just like Uncle Ronnie was saying, you should be mad about this. Now, you should make some phone calls. You should do things, and that's where Hub Radio comes in, because this is a wonderful resource for you. If you're looking for recalls, anything like that, you can give the office here a call and find out information and what to do and where to go.
And Ray, I think Brandon will tell you, we are on top of a lot of things that you won't find anywhere else. And, Brandon is, you're welcome here anytime. I know we're just short of time, Mr. O'Connor. We're ready to go. Okay, wake up, Mr. O'Connor. We're taking us out. Any rate, because it's an hour-long program, and we're almost at an hour.
So how do they get in touch here with Hub Radio, with you, Uncle Ronnie, to find out what they can do? I know that they're mad.
Okay.
They want to do something that's productive.
602-677-1496. It says Hub Radio down in the corner. It's hard to find us, but you can go to Facebook and just put in Hub Radio Phoenix, and you'll find a lot of our programs. Mr. O'Connor's made a lot of special programs, and we thank you. We've done some things with Alex, and we thank you for being here.
Thank you, Alex.
And Brandon,
Thank you,
you're
Alex.
welcome anytime. And our stunt double over here. We have a stunt double over here, Neil, and he's good guys.
Yeah.
Got us properly lit. He puts my makeup on.
Yeah. And Brandon, thank you for your hard work. We really appreciate you being here, and whatever we can do to support what you're doing, we're here for you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And
Thanks, Uncle Ronnie.
We hope to have you on again next week to tell us what they do on Tuesday.
Right.
So, Alex, thank you so much.
Thanks, Alex. We'll see you soon.
And thank you, Mr. O'Connor. Your name's on the screen. So's my mother's firstborn, right there. There's our floor director. And there's Panasonic,
You know, he's
Fujigan.